And welcome everyone. What is today? The 19th. Yesterday was the full moon on the 18th. August 19, 2021. This is our Mentoring Stewards call. So good to see you all here and all those that will be joining us. Is that a magic wand that you held up there, Gil?
No, that's my heart of tea.
So I'm going to invite John to give us a beautiful, loving, yummy, warm introduction into our hearts and bring us into this space. So John.
All right, thank you so much. Welcome everyone. And so yes, let's, oh, there's Linda Julie.
Linda Julie? That sounds like a pretty name.
Okay, because Julie informed us that you were going to do the attunement this morning.
I would be happy to. I'm sorry, I could not get into Zoom on my other account, so.
Maybe you could do a little rolling attunement and you can pat Linda. John, you can start and pass it off to Linda to finish.
All right, yeah, let's try
right
that.
on time, Linda.
Duo.
Duo attunement.
Yeah.
All right, good morning everyone. Close your eyes or keep them open, whatever is right for you. And of course, a nice deep breath. Filling and nourishing the body. Allowing the body to unfold itself into the loving arm of Mother Earth. Breathing it again, filling the lungs, expanding the chest and the belly. Opening the heart space to the love and the wisdom of the resonant field that unifies us all. Allow the golden thread of that love course through each of us, allowing us to remember that we are the love and the unity of the one singular moment of creation. And allow your body to experience the magic of this visceral experience of that wholeness. The champagne bubbled effervescence of joy. Bathing us all. And our beloved Linda will take us deeper into that state of being.
As you feel that bubbly effervescence energy inside of you, just feel it lifting you as if you were floating on a large bubble that comes right from your heart. This bubble is the unified field that carries us. We're floating in it, rolling in it. And we realize that this bubble of joy is large enough to hold all of us here at once, informing us, delighting us. Feel your own buoyancy inside this bubble of joy. Hear the laughter and the playfulness. And feel how your body floats effortlessly in this field of love. Breathing it in, knowing we are all here together, adding our love to this bubble, and feeling the love come back to us 1,000-fold. Understanding we are understanding who we are, and feeling this lightness of being, this joy of purpose, this desire to share as we steward this bubble of love. We feel it opening now to sprinkle down on everyone on planet Earth, every animal on planet Earth, all of the waters and the trees and the mountains and the deserts. A sprinkling of golden love, sparkles of light. And we ride back down that beam of light, knowing that we are being informed and reformed and transformed as we gently find our way back to our conscious breath. Into our bodies. Back in our rooms. And here together in this unified, coherent field of love. As mentoring stewards, feeling that joy. One more breath. You can open your eyes when you're ready.
Thank you, John and Linda.
Can I offer a show and tell?
Sure.
I don't know where the bubbles came from, but I can tell you where they land, because I am speaking to you from the land of sparkling wine, direct from Spanish Cava country, where we have 480 wineries making the finest bubbles that we can drink as much as we can. So, greetings from Cava country, and I've loved the bubbly, effervescent invitation.
Well,
how united we are.
Yeah, I loved that too, and it was a perfect lead-in for our day. And I want us to stay there for a moment. And those of you who have just joined, welcome. And if you just joined, you didn't experience this, but you could participate. I would love for us to expand that right now. John began with the champagne bubble effervescent state of joy, the champagne bubbles, the effervescent state of joy. Linda continued and said, floats effortlessly, feeling the love coming back to us 1,000-fold, lightness of being, sparkles of light, golden love. So we were in that place of unity, embodied unity. She took us into that place of our embodied unity. And I want to take this moment right now to bring your voices in of what is your experience of that embodied unity? Sometimes it's not effervescent and bubbles of joy. Sometimes it's more of a calm, effortless stream where we float, like Linda said. So I just want to open that up for a brief. I'd love to hear everyone's voices before we go to our agenda, to what is that embodied experience of unity for you? And this is popcorn style. Just jump in, take yourself off mute, and add your words into this field because it's really important and you'll understand why.
Julie, can you make me the host or co-host so I can do what I want to do?
Co-host or host?
If we're doing breakout rooms, then you need to make me the host, but otherwise.
There you are. You just. So anyone jump in.
Resonance.
Comfort.
Right now, I have a new tower garden in my space that is bubbling in all these little directions, and these little plants and flowers are all coming out of this bubbling water. I don't even know if you can hear it. It's quite loud. And as I feel into the bubbliness of the water, I just see all these little spouts connecting us with a liquidity, a fluidity of being. And we're being moisturized in this bubbliness. And suddenly seeing rainbows in these bubbles. And almost as I look through all the squares, it's almost like each of us has a signature in it of like a hieroglyph of design, all unique, original. The we space is here. Thank you.
I was working on a project last night, a video project, and working was the operative word, and I couldn't figure it out, and I was trying to work it, and all of a sudden I took a deep breath and I remembered this meeting that we have, and I just simply attuned, and immediately became play and joy and flow, and all of a sudden the effervescence of the resonant field in its purity and its beauty came through, and it was such a great example of turning the struggle of work into the joy of play.
Morning. What came to me was acquisition. I don't know, acquisition. That's what came to me, acquisition. And so that's what I'm offering, and that's what it is. I don't have anything else to add to it, but that's what came through.
And I must say that the feelings of unity in the last week have felt a little grinding to me. I do have to say it. Like gears that want to come together, can't quite. Grinding is the best word I could give.
My one word is reciprocity.
Mine's wholeness.
What came to mind for me during the attunement, Linda mentioned that this bubble that seems to have arrived with us this morning, that there's room for all of us in that bubble. And that really resonates for me, simply because there's all inclusiveness in that bubble and there's no separation.
What came to me was peaceful, calm contentment.
What came to me is balance.
When I first spoke, I had dropped in the word comfort. That's unity to me. But after listening to Kate, I'm going to go with also another word that had come to my mind the last few weeks. It's felt like a lot of work.
Thank you all. Oriana joined us late. Welcome, Oriana. So we'll just move forward here, and unless she comes back on the screen, and Connie is busy for a few moments. But I'm going to share a quote that I shared this morning because it's really gorgeous. And yes, unity, that embodied sense of unity is very different than what we're thinking about on the outside of how do we create global unity. The global unity movement, the let's have peace on earth movement, the how do we all work together for the greater good movement. And that has been so much work. And we're preparing for the Caravan of Unity, and you're going to hear more of that. But the Caravan of Unity is just the beginning of this month-long, actually it's the few days in of this month-long focus of unity and peace for the month of September globally. So at the same time we're having a Caravan of Unity in the United States, we're having a Caravan of Unity across Europe, which is going to be phenomenal. You're going to hear it. But I want to share this quote that came from Irvin Laszlo and Jude Currivan. It's a little heady, but be with me for a second because there's a few good nuggets here that I want to drop in. We are beginning to see the entire universe as a holographically interlinked network of energy and information, organically whole and self-referential at all scales of its existence. We and all things in the universe are non-locally connected with each other and with all other things in ways that are unfettered by the hitherto known limitations of space and time. Isn't that lovely? And the piece that felt really fun, of course, for us at Good of the Whole, for me, was really hearing them speak of that as the organically whole, the organic wholeness. So as we're talking about the unity function, and as we're moving toward this whole month, you're all invited into this. You're all an integral part of who we be as Good of the Whole. And our expressions are invited. And we have a few guests with us this morning, at least one. Welcome, Sue. And what I want us to do is to think, I'm going to turn this over to Shelley to add about how we're going to do this day, but the executive council is looking at creating our day, September 9th, on the Caravan of Unity is coming through Kearney, Nebraska, which is the home of Good of the Whole. And here we be. And so because the caravan is not physically moving, there are a few tech people that are gonna move. I panicked yesterday when Ben said, yeah, there'll be support people there to help you. And I'm like, what? And I called Ben and he laughed at me. I'm like, oh my God, I feel silly. I was assuming nobody was coming. And who's coming? Do we have the musicians? Do we have, you know, and I thought the whole caravan was really going to move. And he goes, oh no, we're just sending a few tech people along the way for the caravan. And so we'll have a couple tech people here. But we're integrating, how do we create a local event and a global event and an online event? And we are global and we are online, and here we are. So we want to invite your expressions into this, and we'll share more about how that day, September 9th, is going to look. But one of the things that we want to invite you into in this moment and have you begin reflecting on and perhaps putting into action is your expression of embodied unity, this organic wholeness. We would invite you to record a 3-minute or less, and if it's 10 minutes, okay, but a 3-minute or less video of yourself talking about what is embodied unity to you. What is your experience of that unity that's inside, that resonance, that harmonic place, that ease, that bubbly, that wholeness, that grace, that I want to repeat everybody's words. I must have said grace because it didn't pop up in the field. But what is your expression of that? And it doesn't have to be a beautiful, perfect, professionally edited video. It could be you standing outside with your cell phone, recording your experience of embodied unity. We practice that at Good of the Whole. We practice that on this call. We practice it on Monday morning on the Global Heart Resonance call. We come into that state of being. We work from that place. We relate in that place. We create from that place. So what is that? And we would love to invite your expressions in. We will use them in a creative way on that day. And we'll explain more about how that will all be scheduled in the coming days. But we want you to begin thinking about that today and send them in. Don't wait till the last moment. We'll have to have a deadline. We haven't decided on a deadline yet. Shelley, John, Linda, I don't think we have a deadline yet, do we? But we're inviting that in, and soon. Because the more that we have those, the more we can play around this expression as really a primary focal point for us. So with that, I'm just going to turn this over to Shelley. And
where
do you want to jump in? Go ahead.
Where do you want them to send this video?
To support@goodofthewhole.org.
I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you, Linda. Shelley, do you want to expand on that and say anything more, or John and Linda, about our day?
I'm typing, sorry.
Do you guys want to say anything more? John, Linda?
Well, I would just say that this is an amazing co-creative project for this day as a beautiful reflection and expansion of Good of the Whole. So along with your 3-minute so video, if you have any brilliant ideas in order for a deeper expression of Good of the Whole, just write that out and send that in too. And because this is going to be a true co-creative project from our hearts to the hearts of the world. And so anything that you might come up with, just as an example, pop that to us as well.
Thank you, John.
This is I guess I just want to say that, you know, in embracing our embodied unity, also, it feels like to be aware of what doesn't feel unified. Where am I not feeling that wholeness? Because when I thought of, you know, well, what is my expression of what comes to me when I think of embodied wholeness? Immediately, it felt like this grid that lights up, this interconnected whole, the sense of relationship with nature's design, and that, you know, elan vital, that vital force, and with that is like meeting all those dimensions of self that haven't come forward to be unconditionally loved. You know, that's a part of unity. You know, it's part of the expression of the whole. And I don't know, that was coming to me as I was listening, that yeah, it's how that joy, that compass of joy moves, how our focus becomes so laser beam, you know, to be an expression of that wholeness. That is the unity function to me. When I feel that, wow, everything is flowing. But what happens when you hit an edge and something doesn't feel like it's moving, and we get to turn our attention to some aspect of of ourselves that is calling in to come home. I guess it's that coming home to me. That's the embodied unity, is that experience, that feeling of coming home. And I think that's really what Good of the Whole brings to anyone who steps into this toroidal force of love. This is coming back to that point of singularity. I mean, I don't want to go into it too much, but that point of singularity is the heart. It's the heart of creation. It's the force of love that's creating everything. So I just want to drop that in. And in terms of that, on September 9th, want to just also invite everyone to understand it is a movement, a consciousness that, it starts in Grace Cathedral and it's ending up in the Washington Mall. And there is something that is effervescently bubbling within the whole consciousness of how this, and being a part of the Peace Weekend and the Peace Forum that, as well. So Planetary Peace Forum. So there is that sense. So in terms of the connection, what's beautiful is on that day of September 9th is that it's all going to be done through the connection field. So this is, if you've been having an experience inside the connection field, this is the opportunity to share it out, to bring that broader perspective, to trust the intermingling of communities and organizations and groups that you're involved in that have no idea of what's going on here. So that day begins in the connection field, and it will begin with an opening of the fire ceremony. What I'm feeling is it's a broader ceremony. It has to involve an Indigenous elder or elders, a man and a woman from Kearney, Nebraska. It has to. And that's something that is really being understood around the world, how important that honoring is, along with Jose and all of you who have participated. And inclusive is the language, the vibrational frequency of the language that's getting shared from that point of ignition. And then it moves throughout the day. And we're working on what it looks like, what those hours look like. But what's really important, and as a caveat, is that some of the regular offerings are not going to be the same, or they're going to be, every offering is going to be focused on unity, but there's going to be some intermittent music, concert. All of a sudden, I've been really feeling that it's important to have Spanish involved, have other languages involved that are so part of Good of the Whole, that are so a part of this weaving of native wisdom with evolutionary consciousness. So don't take things personally if you're asked to, we're going to put something else in that place. So I think that's enough to be said. And it will include also a land healing, which is exciting. Julie, it's Plum, what did you say? It's the Plum Massacre?
The Plum Creek Massacre.
Oh, Plum Creek Massacre, yeah. So that's been a larger consciousness in terms of sacred sites as this caravan was originally conceived, which is exciting for me and people who are wanting to play in that field. And so it's really about bringing this consciousness of embodied wholeness, embodied unity. So I think that's enough to be said for right now in terms of the connection field. Yeah.
September 9th, Connie. And again, with the videos, make it be your expression. If 2 minutes feels good, great. If you go a little longer, that's fine. Some of us talk and really express in words, and others don't, and that's okay. Just your essence coming in is what we're inviting. So thank you. And I do want to just presence one more thing. Thank you, Shelley, for explaining the pieces. There's, and we'll have music. That was the other function. Excuse me, that we'll have music, we'll have a land healing, and we'll have an Indigenous ceremony. And I did think of some important local people that can help with Jose. So this is going to be awesome. Is also the piece that's so vitally important here that we're bringing is that expression of going within and that intrinsic unity, that inherent unity and wholeness. And so as the message goes from San Francisco across to Washington, D.C. weeks before the election. 2 weeks or a week. I haven't looked. Whenever the election falls on Tuesday, will be within 2 weeks, 14 days or less. If I look at the calendar, I probably should do that. We will be ending, and Good of the Whole is co-sponsoring the One Planet Peace Forum. So actually, it will be maybe 7 or 8 days, I'm thinking, as I'm thinking about how the calendar lands with election day. So my point being, though, is that we're bringing this really important piece of the DNA to that greater whole, right from the heartland, right from the geographic center of the United States. We're holding a field that's talking about really the foundations of healing. We can't have peace on earth and create global unity without us, just like Shelley said, welcoming those dissonant pieces within us that haven't met unity. And without that practice and pathway that we call heart resonance, but it's that going within. So we're bringing this conversation to the greater whole of the Caravan of Unity and the whole peace month, peace weekend, 11 days of peace, all of that, peace by 2030. There's going to be so many different things that are happening. We're going to ground this force of love right in the middle of it and toward the beginning of it, which is cool because we get September 9th and then things start really heating up through to peace weekend. So this is vitally important. This isn't just a figurative expression that we're bringing in. This really is the DNA and the anchoring of this higher expression. So thank you. So let's break out into groups and process a little bit about what we're hearing here. I'm not going to give you a question because we just gave you a lot to just feel into. Let's just see what bubbles and arises from our small groups. So we'll take about 20 minutes in our small group, and then we'll come back and just share more into the collective. So thank you all. Thank you, Shelley, and I'll go ahead.
Just quickly, so no scribe, just we'll pop back in as a whole.
We're going to pop back in as a whole. Somebody wants to be a timekeeper, though, so everyone has an opportunity to speak. This is vitally important. Please.
How long will we have in the room?
Pardon, Linda?
How long will we have in our breakout?
We're going to have about 20 minutes in the breakout, and it looks like we could have 4 groups of 4. So please be mindful, self-regulate, self-organize, watch your group. If someone's speaking for 20 minutes, you know, that doesn't help. So let's all really muse into that and allow conversation. So keep it limited, but allow the conversational flow. So thank you. Shelley? Maestro Shelley?
All right, here we go. And by the way, the breakout rooms are random. This is trusting the universe, who you end up with and what comes to you. So that's part of the gift and the flow and the playfulness of the field. I'm not doing anything.
I wonder if we'll get 4, or if we'll just say, yeah, we do. Hey, Sue, welcome.
Hey, Sue. Hey, Gil.
Oh,
Yeah, hi there. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Sue. Long time no see.
Yeah, I mean, it has been a long time. Holy cow. It's good to see everyone.
And nice to meet both of you, Connie and Sue. I am Gil.
Hi, Gil. Nice to meet you.
Seen you around on Good of the Whole.
Yep, he's been around. And Sue, I've seen you on the fire a lot lately. I'm always there, but I'm behind the logo, so it's nice to see the fire. So, and welcome to this call. So I'm not going to mediate this. Someone else. I like to step back. So how do we begin?
Start from a whole world view.
That works for me.
Shall we?
Works for me.
Yes, it's cool that you brought that quote forward from Jude and Irvin. I don't know. You said it was both of them, but I don't know how it was both of them. But anyway, it's so important. And for me, that's the key piece is the new science, the breakthrough science that can help our Western mind grok the fact that the old scientific paradigm is no longer valid. There have been new discoveries and we have a new paradigm. And to me, that's the only way to the open heart and to the new paradigm and higher frequencies is this understanding of the nature of the universe, how it works. And that's our work, as you all know. And Gil, you ordered our book, The Trust Frequency. So you have our book, The Trust Frequency. And so anyway, for me, that's key. It's foundational, it's fundamental, the heart. And for me, until we understand how loved we are by a conscious, loving universe, which Jude is now saying it is the science of love. And I'm quoting her big time to have the support in my knowing of the love that we are and that drives all things. And once we understand how loved we are, our heart opens and we come into that oneness. So, and for me, we're going to get it. It's what's up. The veil is thinning between separating us from our true selves. So the veil is thinning and we're going to get it. We're going to lay down the weapons of war and we're going to move into a higher frequency where there's more abundance than we can fathom. And so there's nothing to fight over. Peace on earth comes automatically. Hoarding stops. It's all good. I'll let it go with that. Thank you.
Well, Connie, as a co-founder of A Whole World View, I guess I have to step in. Because yes, obviously, I'm delighted to hear you express it, because what our intention has been, even through working with Jude and a lot of her work, and also that of Irvin, is how do we communicate this such that other people not just grasp it, but also reflect it back in their own words, which is what you've just done. So you've already just given me a gift, because at the end of the day, that's our intention. And I've stepped aside from it because having sat with it for 4 or 5 years and holding that question of, well, how do we do that in a way to reach 300 to 400 million people? I know what that answer is for me. And I had to step out of the circle in order to create the space that I can create what I realize is my piece in that puzzle. And Julie knows what it is because I've shared it with her. And I guess the question is that what unity means to me? It's certainly what I know my piece of the puzzle is. And it has to be through art and media. When it is ringing through the music, dance, film, stories, TV, things, books we're reading, again, through each person interpreting it through their own experience and creativity and artistry, then the rest will follow. That's when the war machine will shift to the peace machine. That's when governments, companies, et cetera, will follow. And so, Jules Lee, I have finally just an hour and a half ago made my first little go at that, arguing that case. Because I'm finishing also an 8-week story course in LA, Story Accelerator, how to tell stories that create the connection through trust, that generate the oxytocin of empathy. And as you build that trust, you express your relation to what you've just done with us, Connie. Then how you add to that the invitation and the inspiration, the call to action to embody that and express that unity, which triggers the dopamine. So that's kind of where I'm playing it, is in this divine dance of what Oriana lovingly shared with me yesterday, the divine dance of still and always, that is the love story of evolution. And how to bring that forth is how I hope to viscerally express unity and invite others to play in it and create from it.
Wow, what a treat to get to know you, Gil, and your piece of the puzzle. Thank you. So let me ask you, is the whole worldview is not Jude Currivan?
Jude and I co-founded it 4 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And then since over a year, we have a core team of 13, which is stewarding it, kind of like we have, Go to the Whole, different groups to help steward. And it is largely, though, based on Jude's work. That is the foundation of it.
Uh-huh.
But that is not its only thing.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
I'll go ahead and add my little piece here. I feel strongly that in order to have the unity, people need to be reconnected to what's real, and that's nature. Being able to use all their senses to connect as they're outside. I mean, so many have lost their way, and so there are so many that need to really get back to the basics. And as we share all that we know, and we all have different ideas and different ways of connecting, I think that indeed really needs to be shared first. They really need to be able to connect to the wholeness of this earth, be educated, be knowledgeable of, the trees, how everything is in a circle, how everything is connected, how everything works together, because there is so much imbalance right now in the world that, and it's what we've created, that people really need to understand the circle of life. And I think sharing, those that can share their knowledge of what they've learned and how they connect with nature, by listening, by just being quiet. The main thing is listening and just connecting with what is available around them and in their area. I think is powerful too, to add to this this call. Thank you.
Gorgeous, beautiful. Yes. Look at everybody going, yeah. Wow. When I think of that embodied experience and bringing that into the expression of the day, it's like I'm still in the mode of holding the whole for the day and what happens locally. And it's, to me, it's so vitally important that that it can be restful throughout the day, that it can be coherent throughout the day. And so I'm just going to bop this in, because these practices, like connecting with nature, connecting with music, connecting with the arts, feeling that trust frequency, like learning it here, but bringing that in, that really our day can get, like, it can be this is how September can feel. So I'm just going to say this, because Unity Week felt like this too. Unity Week didn't feel like unity. Unity Week felt frenetic. There was so much going on, and everybody's doing their own thing, which was wonderful that everyone was focusing on unity, but it lacked a coherence that helped come into that practice and that pathway. It was like everybody's talking about unity at the same time with megaphones. So, so when this idea of experiencing that embodied unity came in, it was like, how do we invite the coherence to speak through word and voice and music and silence, and but not just be a day of meditation, because it's not just, you know, unified doing a collective meditation, a global meditation. This really is really the connection and creating greater coherence, mind, heart, body coherence, beginning in that heart. So yes, I'm just really hearing that and presencing that. How do we hold the coherence and allow the radiant diversity of who we be throughout that whole day? And yeah, so anyway, we will have music, we will have nature, we will have fire, we will have a lot of things, and we need many, many, many people holding that field and creating that greater coherence, so that all of those watching on Facebook Live or wherever they tune in from can really get that embodied experience.
One thing I'm wondering about the multiracial aspect, the 4 colors of man. It seems very monochromatic at this point, bringing in indigenous, which is really key in my world, but also the yellow people, the black people, you know, having, and the youth and the elders, having a real mix of generations and colors and cultures, and but maybe that's too much, you know, but different perspectives.
Is that just a challenge or an aspiration, or something we could reflect on with you?
Yeah, well, I just was throwing that out to Julie as a suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. I'm working with, you probably have seen Marty K. Casey, Dr. Marty K. Casey, who did Black Sunday, and bringing her voice and her community into the connection field. And she's all excited about that.
Was her day successful? What was the experience of the night? Because I was traveling.
Yeah, it was very, she was very pleased, and it was really, it was wonderful. It was really moving, and it was an emotional roller coaster. Like, literally, we're holding the pain of these mamas who've lost their sons coming on, and then we're holding the hope of a congressman. I can't remember if she's in the Senate or the Congress, doesn't matter, a politician coming in saying, I promise to help heal. You know, so we just had a lot, and we had music, and we had levity, but we had grief, and we had, you know, it was really a powerful day. It was really a powerful expression.
Good.
And yeah, reached lots of people.
Good.
And I hear you, Connie, like the ages, you know, I keep inviting my daughter in, who's, you know, early 30s, and everyone keeps saying the children, the children, the children. And it's like, how do we create, maybe there's a connection field children that's going to be a separate one just for them. I don't know. Connection field kids.
Youth.
Field. Youth.
Youth.
So, but that doesn't bring yellow. And so that's another one. The Far East, we're barely tapping into. We have a few people who are connected with the Far East, but not. Yeah, thank you for that. The radiant diversity is an important piece.
And one thing, what about prayers or meditations from the various esoteric aspects of the religions. I don't know how to say this, like the Sufi, like, indigenous, Native American, various representations.
Even the Quakers coming from the Midwest. Yeah.
Yeah, Quakers, whatever, to offer a meditation from that perspective, or a prayer, or whatever. It's just a thought.
I think it's a really good thought, not to overlook the nearby. Who's the Archdiocese of Nebraska? Who's the Catholic leader of Nebraska? Who is the Baptist Convention? You want to bring more of, if you want to bring Latins, bring the Catholics. If you want to bring Negroes, bring the Baptists, and just not overlooking what's close by. And not having to go to extreme corners of the world per se, but like you said, radiating from Nebraska. That really struck me, how and when you said it and the energy of it. And you showing me the birds of these massive, almost like fields of storks in Nebraska, nothing I would have associated with. I don't associate wildlife with Nebraska. Only corn and only grain. That's it. And cow. And not even the cows, because they never show you a cow. All you know is that the state comes from there and there's a meat packing plant, but I've never seen a cow in Nebraska. Only grain and corn. Endless fields of it. So again, just, who is there? And don't forget, there's got to be, I was amazed. There's a Miss Asia Arizona beauty pageant every year for 20 years. I went to the Miss Asia Arizona pageant. So they're not, we don't have to go to Asia per se. And I agree with you, Connie, because also at Whole World View, as we played with this, we have a lot of, Christian elements, the Christians awakening to a new awareness, but they're a small, group that's been understanding how to update it for 20 years. But that we have to have ambassadors from the major religions on board in order to take this global. And so actually just reaching out to our local faith communities and finding the right ones. Because it's like everything is just out of 10, there will be 2 to 4 who will resonate.
That's brilliant. And going to Nebraska, the heartland, what's there, and bringing that forth.
Who leads the Nature Conservancy, or the biggest, nature protection groups in Nebraska?
Yeah, we have a lot.
It might be that simple, something that would be easy networking.
Yeah.
That's not, follow the path of least resistance. I'm also a big fan of that. Low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. There is a lot of assets right here, and there's a lot of, people call Nebraska the flyover state, and which is okay. And a lot of the locals say that's okay. We've got peace and unity. You guys just fly right over and don't land here. And there is a lot of peace and there is a lot of unity. And the slogan that came out, the literal state slogan came out, where it's always been Nebraska, the good life. And there was a fun play on it, and people said, no, let's keep it, was Nebraska, it's not for everyone. And so, people were like, because a lot of people will go, oh, what, Nebraska? Where's Nebraska? I don't even know where's that on the map. And, oh, that's the most boring state. You drive right through it. And yeah, you're going from coast to coast. You drive right through it on I-80. We all know that. But yeah, the culture is something else. We wave at each other. We talk to each other. There's just a lot of beauty here. And so, yes, then the Nature Conservancy, I'm thinking of the Rose Sanctuary. I'm thinking about looking at, land management and conservation and the waterways, and there's so much beauty right here that
and FEMA relief, also the countryside. We have this beauty and we've been hammered.
Well, and we had all that flooding, so there's land healing to be done right there in Kearney as well with all the flooding. So yeah, thank you.
And God, bravo for you, dear. I think it's fabulous. And to
I went
hold,
from, we have this committee that wanted to have this local event, and we were going to have music, and then it's like we were going to invite the school children in and it's like the schools don't even know if they'll be in. We're getting hit. One school started, and the teachers all had a breakout from their early start where the teachers work days, and so then they closed the school for a couple more weeks. And so yeah, we're in these uncertain times. It'll be interesting to see what manifests for that day.
take cues from the DNC. Certainly is an option. You know, whoever's doing it first, see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. Mm.
One more minute. Do you have anything more, Sue?
I don't know if we could, whoops. Okay. I don't know if we could do some drumming, the heartbeat of the Earth Mother, somehow. Manage to keep that going for a while, connecting different pieces. I don't know. Is this just going to be a day thing for us, and then it's just going to caravan across to other organizations
That's something you
across
might
the
explain
country?
to the whole group, Julie, because I mean, I heard of this months ago, but you've been disconnected the last 3 weeks, so I don't know what actual vision the caravan across anywhere has.
Yeah, it will be. So that's good. I will explain that because I think we'll get chopped off here, but I will come in and explain that right away, Sue, because that is an important piece.
Okay.
So then we can start to hang, you know, Christmas balls if we see the tree.
Yeah. And I love, wouldn't that be cool if literally we had a drum circle drumming all day long as the Heart of America in a public park?
Yeah.
That on the Labyrinth, that would be exquisite.
Yeah.
I love that. Carney
Of
won't
course,
know how to hit it. Like,
there's a long tradition that those things would go on for days, so it can't be hard to imagine.
yeah.
Find people who could help make it happen.
Yeah, it's usually like, you know, oh, meet us on the beach. We're going to have a drum circle in the middle of Nebraska. There are private drum circles on private land, but it would be so cool to come into. And we've done that with Indigenous too. There have been a lot of Indigenous come in. And if we get the locals to come in, that would be so cool. Thanks,
Yeah.
Sue. I love it.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Oh, the heartbeat of America.
The heartbeat.
The heartbeat of the heartland. I
And I
love.
love bringing the massacre bit because until the Oklahoma, thing happened, I didn't know the story of the massacre of the black, middle class town in Mont Blanc. I didn't know. So if you have also stories, bring them forth to heal them, shine light on them, shine awareness just to heal them.
Okay, guys. See you in the big room.
Hampshire to see my grandkids. So
I'm going to New Hampshire.
Tomorrow.
For how long?
Probably about 10 days.
Ugh, I won't meet you. We'll talk more.
Okay.
Come back,
Well-
everyone.
Shell, do I have to 10:15?
Yeah.
Let me go. I'll go get the iPad for you, John. Yeah, 10. I'll go get the iPad.
Yeah. Good. Welcome back, everyone. Sure, it was a inspired spheres of wholeness that were happening here.
Bridget and Jerry are over there just having a blast. John, do you want me to ask them if they can hold down the fort for a little while? Yeah. Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah. Let's take a breath. Feeling that expanded heart, the expanded capacity of our hearts as we come together. Feeling that coherence that's getting built here. Because isn't that what the caravan or the train of unity? It's about building coherence, gathering energies, bringing them home, bringing them to the heartland, specifically for us. You guys don't know this, but the first time I ever went to Kearney, Nebraska, Julie and I well, we were looking for this place called Guide Rock, but we actually drove to the this tiny literally smaller than a tiny house, this one bathroom church that was literally called the center of the United States, the heartland. And remember, and they had little things you could pick, like little, or you could pick a reading. It's hilarious. So bringing joy to this caravan. I'm looking at Grace, the Global Heart Team is definitely a voice in this day.
You know, Grace and I were speaking during the residence lounges for a few minutes yesterday about each one of us sitting with this 2 to 3 minute video to bring in. And Grace's map was behind her. And she goes, what if I played the weather lady and told how the flow of love was coming through? And I thought that was great.
Yeah, there's a high pressure love coming in from the west, flipping over.
A high pressure from the north.
Totally love it.
Oh my God, yes.
A tornado of love. Looks like a tornado of love over here, and a hurricane of love coming up from the south.
That's great.
Tsunamis, the whole
Yeah,
bit.
the hurricane. Great. That would be amazing to have go throughout the day, because that could be a lead in to each of the events that are happening. And now we're going over to blah, blah, blah. You know, that's totally fantastic. Great. It's
The
great.
love looks really high pressure there. A lot of love there. Temperatures are rising. Love is rising.
I love it. The connection field, weather, wisdom, woman.
The weather girl love map here.
Then gotta also have Linda and her gallery of children, those beautiful little faces behind.
Oh
them.
yeah.
Have a word with each of them coming through.
Right, you could have each one pop out from there, you know, hold them up and pop out from behind. Go.
I wish I could be here.
I was over with Jerry and Bridget, and they were both trying to get over here with us and couldn't get here. And so they're holding the space there. But Jerry said, please, 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 please remember me. I just want to do a flute thing at the end of the day for integration and really bring everybody in to integrate the day with flute and sound. And I'm like, perfect. So we'll be talking to her. It was gorgeous. I had a question in my small group, and sorry I missed the beginning of the process, but I'm just going to drop this in because the question was, and how will this flow? Like, what's going to happen after Kearney, before Kearney? And literally, yes, different local people with Unity Earth are hosting events in these other cities. So there's a map. We can get that out on the next Mentoring Stewards. A copy of that map can be in the next email, so that literally they will begin in San Francisco, go down to LA, go to Las Vegas, then go to Colorado, I think Denver, and then they'll come to Nebraska. Then they're going to St. Louis, then Chicago, and then off east.
One per day or multiple, just different time slots?
Different time slots, and a couple days of travel in between. So it will be a progression. And they're also inviting all the locals to, you know, if you're having an event in, like somebody in Texas is having an event and other places, they're going to weave that in. Here's the map. They're going to weave it in from everywhere, but these are their bigger events that they're highlighting. And this is where the caravan would have traveled. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and end up back in Washington, D.C. So we are also on number 10, we're represented. We are represented in number 5, Go to the Holes, hosting that. And then we are co-hosting and partnering with others for the One Planet Peace Forum on September 25th, 26th, 27th. So we're kind of holding a lot here. Thank you for sharing that map, Shelley. So that's how that will progress. And I'm sure a lot of it will be hosted right on the Unity Earth site. We're going to invite them to come back into the connection field and to have people come in after their events and to do that. So we'll see what happens. We'll be sharing more as it unfolds.
Julie, I have a question. Will there be any live events in any of these locations?
Yes, there will be. And I'll learn more tomorrow. There's going to be a couple concerts that are going to happen socially distanced that they're going to go forward with. I don't know if they'll have an audience, but they're going to have a concert and broadcast them. There will be ceremony at the very beginning in San Francisco at Grace Cathedral. So there will be a live event there. And then the One Planet Peace Forum will be all virtual. And then I think there will be a live piece in DC, but I'm not sure what that will be. So I don't know about the other locations. They're still working on Chicago, what to do in Chicago. I'll keep you posted. I'm going to attend tomorrow night and I'll learn more. Or tonight. I'll learn more tonight. We'll learn more tomorrow. So how were the breakouts? I love David's smile. Come on, David.
Ours was awesome.
So we just had the word awesome from Karen, but Karen and Grace and David and I were in a group. And excuse me, it was a perfect weaving of mentoring each other, gaining from each other, understanding, and then letting go of all the understanding and just being in that bubble of love. We're really growing and evolving together, and it's so much fun because people are expressing their experience of what is embodied unity, and that was what David brought up, and we each had a chance to talk about it and then realize it's so hard to find words because it's just a vibrational frequency. And when you know that you're in it, everything around you starts to resonate with that same space. So if you're in a peaceful place, if you really are feeling that peacefulness, the animals around you, the people around you, everything will know that. They won't be afraid of you, and they'll be in a peaceful place too. So embodying that unity is, how do you want to be in the world? How do you want the world to be? And you get to create that by what you're carrying within you. I added a little more than what we talked about, but there's that. That was my understanding.
I love what Sue brought in at the last moment in our group. It was, we had Connie and Gil and Sue and I, and talked about, nature and prayers from different cultures and religions and bringing in all colored people, all faiths, all ages. And so there was a lot of that, and really capitalizing on the locals, like really bring the locals in to share. But Sue brought in at the last minute, which I absolutely love, I think many of you will, is a drumming all day long as the heartbeat from the heartland of America, like literally bringing in the heartbeat of the mother and drumming all day long. And that would be so cool to really bring that through if we can do that. So yeah, everybody see that happening. I'm seeing I said in the public park, but I'm also thinking about a beautiful location that's on the river that would be so cool if people could gather and just drum all day long as the heartbeat of the mother coming through. Yum.
Julie, would you pull people from your community? Like I was seeing that, like that would be an opportunity to have drummers from the community that you could bring. If you do it in a park,
yeah,
you look at the drummers in that area. Who do you have? Bring them in that park. That would be so powerful.
Yeah.
To bring that piece together. That would be, and if you, yeah, I could see that.
If that's all we did, Ia, that'd be enough, right? If that's all we did.
It's amazing. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm loving that. Thank you, Ia. Yeah.
And bring it into the connection field, just live. Put your camera up there and let it be there.
Could I add to that? And that is, what if, even if it was just a flash of, because we have a lot of drummers in this group. David and I, we had a group that we met often, and David's a drummer. I'm not, but he's taught me a lot. And so if we just had a flash of our different locations with our local people that were drumming that could just be popped in there, I think that would be an awesome deal.
Mm.
So let me talk about our group for just a moment. First of all, when we're talking about drumming and we're talking about, Don Pett showed I think it was like 4 minutes, right, Don, a video. And again, the sound quality, it was very, very varied. So I just hope we can get that technological part for the sound clarity for our whole day. And I'm sure they'll help us with that because I think it's so important. But let me move on from that. Don's video, and Don could speak for himself around this, but the song that was very popular back in the 60s and 70s, We Are on the Eve of Destruction. Do you remember that song? We're on the eve of destruction. And then a video was applied to it with all of the extraordinarily damaging things that are happening in our country and around the world. And, you know, do we understand the depth and the importance of the destruction? And Shelley could pop on this. It's definitely a message. It's definitely a message of here's the reality of what the old paradigm has produced. But what it didn't have was, what do we do with that? And how do we stay in this resonant field, in this love? And is there, you know, do we on the Day of Unity show that contrast in some way in order to have people be brought into, no, we can't be that anymore, and here's the option of being in resonant love. And so that was a whole discussion that came up, and I think it was good because there are always, you know, there's the, you know, in separation, there's the two sides, but do we stay very focused on the resonant field and the unity, or do we bring in that part? And so that was a discussion within our group.
Good conversations. I wish we had more time. Want to keep it going. Thanks for presencing that. That's a conversation for all of us to be really mindful of. Thank you. So we are a minute over. Is there any last brief thing that needs to be spoken into the field before we temporarily break?
Just quickly, this is really important to really unify us as mentoring stewards. If you're coming on this call for the first time, or if you're watching this replay and you're a yes to becoming a mentoring steward, but you actually haven't gone to the registration page and signed up through that $25 donation, we ask you to do that. Or if you have any questions and you're just musing with this, to talk to myself or Linda about becoming a mentoring steward and how to actualize that. So we want to hone that in. If you're in a trade and you're not doing anything, please show up. Please contact Linda and I, and would love some help. I'm going to ask June to help with making some phone calls to just let's unify here so that we're all actualizing this mentoring stewardship, living in service for the good of the whole. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelley. Any announcements about things for today? Coming
I
up?
don't know about things for today. We'll see you all hopefully in the healing field this afternoon. But I wanted to encourage us to do the Facebook page, the Mentoring Stewards Facebook page, because we can talk to each other there. It's a working page, but it's also an announcement. It's also something that comes across that you feel you just want to share. So start becoming part of that. If you haven't been invited, let me know. And I was inviting a few other people, and I think we have to be friends. I think I'm friends with everyone here on Facebook before I can invite you in to the Mentoring Stewards Facebook page. Good of the whole Mentoring Stewards. So be on the lookout for little announcements and things there. We want to bring this community even closer together.
Thank you, Linda. Anything else, Shelley, important coming up that we need to know of this week?
Just support these events, even if you know you can't be on it, by just sharing a watch party. It's so simple. Just going to go to the whole page when some of these events are going live, and you just share it out with a little personal message. It's amazing, the attractor field. It's the only way that, unless you're sharing verbally or sharing through your data, which we'll be talking more about, it's the only way those people who are sitting on that virtual edge of the evolution, who want to know what we're doing, can find out. And I've been seeing it happen just by a few people sharing. All these people are like, oh my God, I had no idea. And they're coming in. So be an attractor field for that. If you don't know how, call me. I'll help you. It's really easy. So
Thank you all. Thank you all. So good to have everyone here. Thank you all for that effervescent, bubbly space that we created and held. So much love to you all week long. And we'll see you next week. But thanks for that bubbly, Gil. And keep communicating, like Linda said. And if you have questions, but really think about those videos, which will be great. We'll be using them and more. There's other things, just like Jerry said. I want to offer the flute for integration at the end of the day. Gorgeous, beautiful. So be creative, be you, and be unity. Mwah. See you all.
And thank you, Linda. That was right, because we weren't connected, so I just sent out to you. So yes, please invite me to the group. But anybody else, I did find Linda K. Rosenthal. Linda
Linker.
Your name on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Linda Linker Rosenthal.
Yeah, it's Linker.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a perfect, yeah, Linker, link.